Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and today we're opening our Bibles and looking at Psalm 103. This is part of the study that I've entitled Three Psalms, and we're looking at laying next to each other, studying together Psalm 23, Psalm 90, and Psalm 103, because they are very closely tied to each other and connected to each other, especially Psalm 103 and Psalm 90. As we said a couple of days ago, Psalm 90 is the first song, the wisdom psalm, that opens the fourth book in the collection of five psalm books that we have in the book of Psalms. We didn't mention that it's interesting that the psalm book is often called, especially in ancient time by the Jews, the book of David. In fact, there's reference to that even in the New Testament. And of course, the first books of the Bible, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, are the books of Moses. And so it's interesting that the book of David has five books in it, and Moses's books are listed as five books. David, of course, did not write all the Psalms. He wrote about half. Moses may not have written all of the first books of the Bible either, although I tend to think that he wrote much of them because he certainly had the training and the education growing up as a prince of Egypt to be the recorder of, such a wonderful, detailed, specific, riveting history like is written in the first five books. So anyway, just so many connections. We've already talked about the connections between 23 and 90 as being defining Psalms. One tells us who David is, one tells us who Moses is. We've also talked about the way their portraits of God are different. Not that they are working with a different set of facts, because they agree on the same set of facts, not only about God, but about us as human beings. But they interpret those differently. And we're going to see that clearly in Psalm 103 today. And I'm going to read the text, and you're going to see that he's referring to and even quoting Psalm 90. Okay? Psalm 103 of David. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, who forgives all your iniquity, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from the pit, who crowns you with steadfast love and mercy, who satisfies you with good so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. The Lord works righteousness and justice for all who are oppressed. He made known his ways to Moses and his acts to his people Israel. The Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love. He will not always chide. He will not keep his anger together. He does not deal with us according to our sins, nor repay us according to our iniquities. For as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is his steadfast love toward those who fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far does he remove our transgressions from us. As a father shows compassion to his children, so Yahweh shows compassion to those who fear him. For he knows our frame. He remembers we are dust. As for man, his days are like grass. He flourishes like a flower of the field. The wind passes over it, and it is gone, and its place is no more. Verbatim, what Moses said in Psalm 90. But the steadfast love of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting on those who fear him. From everlasting to everlasting, you are God. It's the very first two verses and David taking his own words and talking about God. God is eternal, yes. His love is eternal. His righteousness to children's children, to those who keep his covenant and remember to do his commandments. The Lord has established his throne in the heavens, and his kingdom rules over all. But bless the Lord, O you his angels, you mighty ones who do his word, obeying the voice of his word. Bless the Lord, all his hosts, his ministers who do his will. Bless the Lord, all of his works in all places of his dominion. Bless the Lord, O my soul. We have some real connection with John's writing here too. We've talked about how Psalm 23 and Psalm 90 connect with John's New Testament literature. We have Psalm 103 in verses 20 through 22. David David is talking about the Lord to the singer, to the listener, but he's specifically talking to Moses, and he mentions Moses by name, and he quotes Psalm 90 word for word, multiple places, and multiple other places he refers to specific lines from Psalm 90. This is a response to Psalm 90 and a commentary on Psalm 90, but it ends with him calling to the heavenly host and then to all the created universe to join in praising God. And this is itself fulfilled in Revelation chapter 5. Read the end of Revelation chapter 5, and it's like David is correct, is conducting the heavenly chorus, because the thing that he asks for the heavenly host and all the universe to do, they do. They stand up and do, and then they fall down and do. Just read Revelation 5. It is the fulfillment of David's request at the end of Psalm 103. Let's talk about Psalm 103 just by way of introduction. We see clearly that he is quite literally putting his arm around Moses and saying, everything you said was true, but it's not the whole truth. And also saying to Moses, those things you asked for, God has already done, and he's done more. He has established his righteousness to children's children. He's already done that. He has established his throne in the heavens. Those things that God has established, they are established eternally. You ask for something very small, and he's given you that, and something that is bigger than the universe and will last longer than the universe. We just see David saying those things to Moses. And it makes me wonder, did David grow up knowing this song and thinking, yes, but, and then at some point in his maturity, when he became a leader of men, a leader of God's nation, understanding maybe you have days where Psalm 90 is the way you feel. And then thinking, man, I wish I could say something to Moses. I wish I could say this, because there's more to it than what he admitted. And I get feeling that way. And I get you have days like that when you're leading God's people, but there's more. And I need to say this to him. I really feel this coming through this psalm. This to me is David feeling oneness with Moses and wanting to put his arm around him and saying, you know, everything you said is true, but it's not everything that is true. Let me tell you what else is true. And he didn't get to say it to Moses, not in the moment, but he got to say it to us. We who also have read Psalm 90. And it's important for us to know that Psalm 90 is not the end of truth, that there's a lot of truth yet to be told after Moses has described who we are before God as sinful human beings. We'll look at the text more closely next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.